What's up, tennis fans? Sleepy Picks here. We are so excited to be discussing the Wimbledon draw with you guys. This video is going to be looking at the top half of the draw, and we will be making first round picks for each of those matches. These are the matches set to go off on Monday. Now, this is a relatively long video, guys, so make sure you grab a snack. We also do have chapters. If you guys are tuning in just to hear about one or two specific matches, check the description, click the chapter, and then it will take you right to that match. Let's take a look at the draw. And here's a look at Sinner's eighth of the draw. We will start with Sinner, the number one seed. He will be taking on Kecmanovic. Head-to-head here is 4-0 in favor of Sinner. Their last meeting coming at Wimbledon 2 years ago. It was a 6-1, 6-4, 6-2 win for Sinner. They did play twice on hard courts. One was a retirement win for Sinner. And Kecmanovic has only won one set, and that was back in 2019 in the Next Gen Finals. It was the very first set they played on indoor hard courts. Kecmanovic won the first set 2-4 and lost 4-1, 4-2, 4-2, and he hasn't won a set against Sinner since. This will be Sinner's first grass court match, so we might want to look to see. You got to check the movement. We've always talked about that. How is he going to look? Obviously, we know from last year, Sinner, the Wimbledon champion, he's going to look pretty good. We know he's been training. He's obviously hungry, coming off that loss to Cerundolo after being up 2-0 and a double break, losing 6-1 in the fifth set. The heat just getting the best of him. He was 8-1 on the grass last year, 9-1 the year before. Kecmanovic, on the other hand, he's 2-2 on the grass this year, 2-3 the year before, 4-4 the year before that. And Kecmanovic has played a few grass court matches, beating Sonego and Gabaudo, both in 3 sets in Mallorca this week, but losing to Marijan in straight sets and Marijan and Hala in 3 sets. Guys, I'm kind of curious to see, obviously, I've talked to you guys multiple times about the movement of Kecmanovic on this surface. I do not think he plays extremely well here. I think if this was a hardcore first-round matchup at the U.S. Open, I think I would say, this could be a tricky match. But just with the question with Kecmanovic and how big Sinner hits, he's going to be looking to play first strike tennis. He's going to be on top of the ball. He's going to be on offense about 85 to 90% of this match. So Kecmanovic isn't going to be able to really dominate with that forehand how he likes to. And we've seen against, Marijan, a bigger hitter, big serve, big forehand, he just is able to kind of bully Kecmanovic around. So I'm going to go Sinner to advance here in straight sets. Next match is Nuno Borges taking on Tristan Boyer. No head-to-head for these guys here. We got Boyer. He's coming in 3-1 on the grass this year, 2-3 last year, 0-1 the year before. He was able to get through qualifiers, beating Olivieri, Pellegrino, and Llamas Ruiz. He beat Llamas Ruiz in 4 sets. And guys, I like the final round of Wimbledon qualifiers. They do a 3 out of 5 set match, and I really like that, just to get them ready for this format. And then there's really no question, this guy has earned his spot into the main draw. Borges, on the other hand, he's 4-3 on the grass this year, 4-4 last year, 0-4 the year before, and he's coming off a loss in Mallorca to Ethan Quinn. It was a 6-1, 6-2 loss. So a little bit of a question mark there, but again, you wonder with these guys, how many more matches do they really need on the grass before they head over to London? Borges got had a great tournament, beating Manarino in straights, Struff in straights, and Darderi in straights before he ran into Quinn. Just looking at this matchup, guys, I kind of feel like Boyer has a chance to kind of bother Borges, but we've seen a lot of good grass court tennis from Borges in the last week. So this is going to take a very big effort from Boyer to get through a match like this. If he can get it to a few breakers, you look at how he played Llamas Ruiz to a couple of breakers there. Maybe he's got a chance with the serve against Borges, but Borges is so good at just redirecting the ball, using your power against you. Boyer likes to hit a lot of bigger shots. Those balls are going to be coming back fast to him. I got to go with Borges to advance here. I'm going to say he will win in 4 sets. Do you guys ever play cards, and when you get dealt your hand, you look down at your cards and you think, who the heck shuffled this deck? That's exactly how I feel about this matchup. Vukic against Brooksby. We're going to get it again. We just got it 4 days ago, I guess. And whether we want it or not, we're getting it again here in a 3 out of 5 set format at Wimbledon. Head-to-head is 3-1 in favor of Brooksby. He was able to beat Vukic in Eastbourne 7-5, 6-1. He also avenged his loss last year on the grass. Vukic was able to beat Brooksby in qualifier 7-5, 6-3. And let's not forget, Brooksby got a lucky loser spot and was able to go into that tournament and get to the finals, losing to Fritz last year. And Brooksby also had a 5-set win over Vukic last year at the U.S. Open. It was 6-4 in the 5th. And that match was so close, back and forth between these guys. And it got to the point, Brooksby broke in the final game to win that match. We got Vukic coming in. He's 4-2 on the grass, 5-5 last year, 10-7 the year before. He's had some good seasons in these recent years on the grass. Brooksby, on the other hand, he's 2-3 on the grass this year, 7-5 last year. Didn't play the year before, and he's coming off a loss to Auger in the second round of Eastbourne. Guys, I'm going to lean towards Brooksby here, and this is a coin flip, really. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, because we've seen these matches, they're extremely tight. Head-to-head in sets on grass is 2 for Brooksby, 2 for Vukic. Could be a 5-setter. Wouldn't surprise me if we saw another 5-setter between these guys. But I kind of liked how Brooksby was able to cruise in the second set of that match in Eastbourne, putting a lot of pressure on the serve of Vukic. So I'm going to go with Brooksby to advance here in 4 sets. Next match is Emilio Nava taking on Ignacio Buse. No head-to-head for these guys here. We got Nava coming in. He's 0-1 on the grass. He lost to Hamish Stewart in Eastbourne in 3 sets. He was 3-2 last year, 2-5 the year before. It's safe to say, this guy's played 13 total matches on the grass. This will be his 14th. It's pretty safe to say that this is not his favorite surface or preferred surface. Buse, on the other hand, he's 2-2 on the grass this year, 0-1 last year, didn't play the year before. He's only played 5 total matches on the grass, and it's also safe to say this is not his favorite surface either. However, Buse's been looking a little bit better. Just piece by piece, he seems to be figuring out the grass, notching a good win, saving match points against Marco Giron in Queen's Club, and then beating Tsitsipas in his last tournament. I mean, he's starting to play a little bit better. Losses to Nakashima, who made it out to the semifinals of Queen's Club, and a loss to Kopchiva, who had a tough match in the quarterfinals, losing to Quinn. The one thing that sticks out to me, though, is that Emilio Nava serve. On the grass, that serve is going to be big. It's going to help him hold games. He's going to be able to play the serve +1. I do question if Buse is able to get him into some longer rallies, how that Emilio Nava movement is going to look on the grass. He looks so good moving on the clay, but is he going to be as sure of foot here on the grass? Probably not, in my opinion. So I got to stick with Buse. I like everything that I've seen from Ignacio Buse. He fights for every point. And even though this isn't his favorite surface, I think he's going to be looking to get a win, a Grand Slam win, especially at Wimbledon. So give me Buse to advance in 4 sets. Our next match is Rafael Jodar against Felix Gill. Rafael Jodar will be making his grass court debut here. Has never played a tour match on the grass. Felix Gill, on the other hand, he's 2-5 on the grass this year. Didn't play last year. 1-3 the year before. And no head-to-head here for these guys. Felix Gill, he's more of a grinder type of player. We saw him against Trunzoliti, and he was able to grind out a good win there last week in Eastbourne. He's a shorter player and a lefty. Now, Rafa Jodar has had abdominal injuries, and this is a little bit concerning. He's admitted that he's been training with a slight discomfort while training, and I think he's trying to do everything he can to make this Wimbledon debut. Obviously, this means a lot to him, coming in as a seeded player here at Wimbledon. But guys, I've had a little bit of experience with abdominal injury, not for myself, but with some of my players. And it's a very tricky injury. It does have a tendency for coming back as well. Even when you feel like it's healed, you make a weird movement, and all of a sudden you just start to feel it again. So I really feel for Jodar with this injury. It's a little bit of a tricky one. Hopefully he'll be able to get through this match. Just looking at this matchup, Felix Gill's going to try to extend some of these points. I think he's going to see if maybe he can wear down the shot tolerance of Jodar. And Jodar, I think, is going to come out and try to play a little bit aggressive and use that serve +1, return +1. We're going to see a lot of winners off the Jodar racket. I think he's going to want to make this a pretty quick match. So it's interesting that he's being matched up with a guy that likes to grind out points. I have a sneaky feeling we're going to have a very tricky match here. I do still like Jodar to advance. I think it's going to be a little bit tough, though, against Felix Gill. So I'm going to go with Jodar to advance in 3. First and second set, I think, are going to be very close. This next match is going to be a good one. We have Shapovalov taking on Carreno Busta. Head-to-head here is 6-2 in favor of Carreno Busta, and he's won their last 2 meetings, beating Shapovalov this year in Dubai 6-2, 6-4 in the first round. And that's a faster court, so I'm really interested to see how this goes. Carreno Busta did play in 2022 in Paris, indoor hard courts, also fast, and was able to win 7-6, 2-6, 6-4. We got Carreno Busta coming in. He has not played a grass court match since 2024, and he has not won a grass court match since 2022. He's only won 6 grass court matches on his career, so it's extremely difficult for us to pick a guy like this. He's coming off that 4th round loss to Rafa Jodar at the French Open, a tough 5-set match where he had 2 sets to love on Jodar. Shapovalov, on the other hand, he's 1-2 this year on the grass, 1-3 last year, 3-3 the year before, and he had a nice win over Pinnington Jones, 7-6 in the third at Queen's Club, but has since struggled. Lost to Cilic in the La Bema Open. That was a week before Queen's Club. And he lost to Demonar relatively easily. Guys, I'm thinking this is going to be a 5-setter. And, I'm going to lean towards Shapovalov. But I really need some mental fortitude from him. I think Carreno Busta is going to take a set or 2. I don't know if he's going to be able to get this done. Having no grass court matches. You can tell, number one, I think there's very little concern about the grass for him. He knows his game isn't built for it, so he's not going to play these tune-ups and everything. And two, didn't play last year. He's going to come in now and got to figure out his movement on the grass. This is another guy that we've seen move extremely well on the clay. How is it going to translate over to the grass? I think he's going to struggle a little bit, especially with those big shots and the lefty spin of Shapo. But something tells me that, we know Carreno, he's such a fighter. He's going to dig in no matter what. He's going to try to find a way to win. This is a guy that he's 6'2" head-to-head against, that he beat this year easily, only dropping 6 games. So he can find ways to win. I just think it's going to be very tough to do on the grass. I just need Shapo to have that mental fortitude to get it done in 5. I feel like I'm risking a lot here, but I'm going Shapo to take this one in 5 sets. Next match is Mochizuki against Basing. No head-to-head for these guys here. Mochizuki's coming in. He's 5-3 on the grass, 11-3 last year, 2-5 the year before. He was able to get through qualifiers here, beating Sachko in straights, Onklin in 3. We remember Onklin had that nice win over Merida. And then he had a 5-setter Mochizuki against Tabur, winning 6-1 in the 5th. Was down 2-1, able to come back and win that to qualify for Wimbledon. Max Basing, on the other hand, he's 3-3 on the grass. Didn't play last year, didn't play the year before. But he does have a winning record on the grass. He's at 8-5 overall. And he was able to get through qualifying, beating Maestrelli in 3 sets, Gench in straights, and then Bertola in 5, winning 6-2 in the 5th, and coming back from 2-1 down, just like Mochizuki. Of course, we don't really know. I don't really know much about Max Basing. 23 years old. He's ranked 331. Obviously, he's playing in a home tournament here. He's going to have the crowd with him. I got to lean towards Mochizuki, though. He's played some good grass court tennis recently. Last year, 11-3. I think he's going to get the win here. I'm going to say Mochizuki wins in straights. Guys, I'm hoping they don't do Ethan Quinn dirty here and put this match. I hope they put this match on Tuesday to give Quinn enough time to recover. He's playing a final tomorrow. And he's playing against Davidovich Fokina. That's going to be a really interesting match for sure. Fokina looking to get his first tour win, and Quinn also looking to get his first tour win. So someone's going to come out very happy with themselves. No head-to-head for these guys here between Darderi and Ethan Quinn. Ethan Quinn is 5-1 now on the grass, 4-3 last year, 1-1 the year before. As we mentioned before, he's in the Mallorca finals, was able to get through Murphy Casson, Vit Kopchiva, and Nuno Borges to make the finals. Darderi, on the other hand, he's 1-1 on the grass this year, 2-4 last year, 2-3 the year before. And he was able to get through Hanfman in straights. And remember, he owns that head-to-head against Hanfman. But he lost to Nuno Borges in straight sets. And guys, I'm leaning towards Ethan Quinn here. I hope that he's not going to have a half tank of fuel left going into this tournament. But I like everything I've seen from Quinn. He's been playing extremely well. He's moving very well on the grass. And that's something that, guys, as we start to get a little bit deeper into this tournament, you've got to differentiate that from some of the other players. The ones that move well are going to be the ones that are getting the wins. And, of course, the ones that have these massive serves, massive forehands, are going to be playing effective tennis on the grass. Ethan Quinn has a big serve. He's able to hold pretty easily. Really just torched Borges today, 6-1, 6-2. I'm going with Ethan Quinn here to advance. I think it's going to be a 4-set win for Quinn. And here's a look at our first eighth of the draw. Obviously, guys, you got to lean towards center. You got Jodar, who feels like he's playing while he's injured. You got Buse, who doesn't really prefer the grass. And then you got Darderi as the other seed here, and I think he's going to lose first round. So this is a nice draw for center to get out to the quarterfinals at the very least. Let me know what you guys think. Post your picks in the comments. Here's a look at Medvedev's eighth of the draw. First match we're going to talk about is Casper Ruud against Hurkacz. Head-to-head here is 3-1 in favor of Ruud. Ruud winning their last matchup in 2024 in United Cup 7-5, 6-3. Hurkacz's only win came on the hard courts in Montreal 5-7, 6-3, 6-2 back in 2022. We got Casper Ruud coming in. He has not played a match on the grass. Didn't play last year. Was 1-1 the year before. And this is a guy that, you look, he's only played 13 matches on the grass. So you think about, he's not really prioritizing the grass season. I think he's using it as a chance to rest and get ready for the hard court summer. Casper Ruud is coming off a 4-set loss at the French Open to Fonseca. We got Hurkacz coming in. He is 1-2 on the grass this year, 1-0 last year, 5-2 the year before. And people talk about him being a dangerous floater, and we just haven't seen great grass court tennis from him yet. Able to beat Rublev in Halle, but then loses to Altmaier in 3, lost to Vukic in 3. So I haven't really seen enough for me to really be convinced that Hurkacz can win this match. Now, of course, Hurkacz has that big game. He's got the serve. He's got the volleys. When it's clicking, like we saw against Rublev, it looks really good, and it's extremely hard to play against. You can't really get much of a rhythm because he's using that serve +1. He's just blasting the ball through you. And we know Casper Ruud is a type of player that really likes to kind of rally some balls, get into a rhythm. I'm sure there are better players that Casper Ruud would have wanted to have played in the first round. For me, guys, I'm gonna go with Casper Ruud here, but we look at his record. He's only won 5 total matches on the grass. I think he's gonna get this one done here. Hurkacz just hasn't had the best of seasons yet, and I don't like what I've seen from him. Too inconsistent on the grass so far. So give me Casper Ruud to advance in 4. Next match is Medjedovic against Ofner. This is a rematch of last year's first round where Ofner was able to beat Medjedovic 7-6, 3-1, retired. And if you guys remember, Medjedovic slipped in that breaker and had to retire after that. Very unfortunate for him, and it did look like they were going to have a pretty tough match against each other. So head-to-head here is 1-0 in favor of Ofner with that retirement. Ofner has not played a match on the grass. In fact, he's been playing challengers on clay. So I'm not sure how that's going to prepare him for the grass. 4-3 last year, 4-4 the year before. Medjedovic, on the other hand, he's 1-1 on the grass this year, 2-3 last year, 2-2 the year before. He was able to he lost to Auger in 3 tough sets, and we've seen how good Auger has been playing. So I don't know if that's really that much of a bad loss for Medjedovic. Guys, I think this is just like the perfect setup for Hamad Medjedovic. I think he wants to get some revenge here. He remembers that match from last year, and had kept playing, he probably was going to win that match, whether it was in 4 sets or 5 sets. So I'm going to go with Medjedovic to advance here. I think he comes out with a purpose to beat Ofner. Give me Medjedovic in 4. Next match is Kwon against Landaluce. No head-to-head for these guys here. We got Landaluce coming in. He's 3-3 on the grass, 8-4 last year. Didn't play the year before. And guys, after that Struff loss, I told you guys I am very shaky on picking him in any match. Now he comes up against Kwon, who it's like dangling the carrot in front of me. Do I want to take this guy again? We'll see. Kwon's coming in. He's 4-2 on the grass. Didn't play last year. Didn't play was 0-1, sorry, the year before that. And a couple of interesting things here for Kwon. He conscripted into the South Korean army, so that's why we haven't really seen much, and there's been some gaps in his scheduling here. Now, Kwon did come back from a debilitating shoulder injury back in 2023, was able to make the comeback, conscripted in January 2025, has 18 months that he has to go through, so I think he's just about done with that. He's been allowed to continue competing for certain events. Kwon is 25-5 on the year. There have only been 5 players to beat him. I mean, that's some impressive stuff there, guys. He also got through full body cramps. I believe it was back in April in a tournament. He was able to win the match fighting through the cramping. So this is a guy that's just willing to push himself as far as he needs to get the win. I think this is going to be a 4 or 5 setter, guys. I think this is going to be a really tough match. Kwon is the type of fighter that I think can bother Landaluce. And Landaluce has that. He does have the fighting spirit. He's got those big shots. He's got the big forehand. He should be able to take control. But again, we saw him against Atman. Tough loss there. We saw him against Struff. Tough loss there. And I just haven't. I'm not confident enough to take Landaluce here, but I'm gonna do it anyways. I'm gonna go with Landaluce to advance in 5 sets. Our next match is Tommy Paul against Muller. Head-to-head here is 1-0 in favor of Paul. He won the only match back in 2023 in Vienna, 6-3, 6-1 in the first round. That's an indoor hard court match there. We got Paul coming in. He's 4-1 on the grass, 1-2 last year, 10-2 the year before. He's coming off that tough 3-set loss in the finals of Queen's Club to Francisco Cerundolo. Muller, on the other hand, he has not played a match on the grass yet. He was 0-3 last year, 1-1 the year before. And guys, if you remember his last match, the last time we saw him was at the French Open, where it seemed like he tweaked his, I think it was his knee. He's had an injury there before, so hopefully he's doing better here. But guys, a little bit iffy coming back on the grass against Tommy Paul. I don't know. If I were Muller, I would have probably just said, let me just get ready for the hard court season. I don't want to risk tweaking anything else on the grass. You could always slip there. Muller's only had 3 wins total in his career on the grass. He has never had a winning season, and his last win on the grass came back in 2024. Guys, this is just screaming Tommy Paul for me. There's not really much more we can say here. He's been playing some solid grass court tennis. I'm going to go with Tommy Paul to advance in straights. Next match is Nakashima against Pinnington Jones. Nakashima coming in, he's 3-1 on the grass, 6-3 last year, 9-5 the year before. Pinnington Jones, on the other hand, he's 2-4 this year, 11-5 last year, 4-2 the year before. And Nakashima's looked good. He played, made the semis of Queen's Club, lost to Cerundolo. Pinnington Jones has had a couple of matches that were very tough 3-setters. And I think he can push Nakashima here. I don't know if this match is really ever going to be in doubt, but I could see Pinnington Jones taking a set. He's got this big game. He's got a good serve. He can come into net. So I can see him really pressuring and rushing Nakashima, not letting him get into a rhythm. But again, we have that Nakashima return, which is one of the best qualities that he has. And he can just put that ball anywhere, no matter how big you hit it, if it's a slice or a kick or whatever. He's able to just get the ball so effectively back and really push the server and force break points. So I'm going to go with Nakashima here to advance in 4 sets. Next match is Struff against Baez. Head-to-head here is 1-0 in favor of Struff. They played back in 2024 in Monte Carlo on the clay. It was a 1-6, 7-6, 6-2 win for Struff. Baez coming in, he hasn't played a match on the grass yet this year. He was 0-1 last year, 0-3 the year before. He has only won 3 total matches on his career on the grass. Struff coming in, he's 2-2 on the grass this year, 3-3 last year, 6-2 the year before. And he's coming off a loss to Nuno Borges in Mallorca, 6-4, 7-5. Guys, Baez, we know, he's a very solid clay court player, and he's been able to translate some of that success over to the hard courts. He's 10-4 this year on the hard courts, but he hasn't had the same type of success on the grass. So I got to go with Struff. I love the big serve. I love the forehands. He's able to redirect the ball. He's going to really be playing offensive tennis against Baez. And I can't trust Baez in his first grass court match to grind out a tough win against Struff. So give me Struff to advance in 4 sets. This next matchup is a wild one. We got Merida against Carabelli. No head-to-head between these guys. And neither one of them has won a grass court match in their entire careers. Carabelli hasn't played a match this year, was 0-3 last year, 0-1 the year before. Merida is 0-1 on the grass this year, 0-0 last year, 0-0 the year before that. Carabelli's dealing with a right forearm injury, so that's why he's withdrawn from the recent tune-up tournaments leading into Wimbledon. A little bit concerned potentially with that. He's 0-5 overall on the grass. Merida, on the other hand, has only played one grass court match, and that was against Martin Dam this year, losing 6-3, 6-2. Guys, this Carabelli should win this match, but I kind of feel like Merida is going to challenge him, just extending the points, making him play some of these longer rallies, testing out that right arm. Obviously, these guys, they don't want to miss the Grand Slam. This is a big moment for them. I'm curious if Carabelli is going to feel that right arm during these matches. Somebody's getting a win on the grass. I'm going to go with Merida to advance here. I think it's going to be a 4 or 5 set, so give me Merida to advance in 5. Now I see matchups like this, and I think, why couldn't one of these guys just draw on Merida and one of these guys draw on Carabelli? We got Medvedev playing Cilic. Head-to-head here is 4-1 in favor of Medvedev. Medvedev getting the most recent meeting on the clay in the Alabama Open, 6-2, 3-6, 6-1. And remember, that was a match that carried over to the next day, and Cilic able to take that set kind of as the night was creeping in, and he did play a previous match that carried over, I believe, the morning of. So good on him to be able to just push Medvedev there, but it looked like Cilic started to feel the fatigue in the next day. Cilic's only win came at the French Open in 2022, a 6-2, 6-3, 6-2 win in the 4th round of the French. We got Cilic coming in. He's 2-2 on the grass, 9-2 last year, didn't play the year before. Medvedev is 4-2 on the grass, 5-3 last year, 6-2 the year before. And this is a really interesting matchup here. We have Cilic. He's got that big serve. He's got a lot of the weapons. He can put pressure on the Medvedev serve as well. We know Medvedev's going to be returning so far deep, and Cilic likes to play the serve +1, so he's probably going to take a lot of opportunities to come into net as well, off of based on the depth of Medvedev's court positioning. These guys have also played a couple of matches on grass. As we mentioned before, they played at the Alabama Open. They did also play in 2021 at Wimbledon. It was a win for Medvedev, 6-7, 3-6, 6-3, 6-3, 6-2 in the 3rd round. Guys, I'm going to go with Medvedev here. I think it's going to be a 4-setter. I could see Cilic taking a set. He did play really well against Medvedev at the Alabama Open, was able to play some offense and just kind of take the racket away from Medvedev and not let him play some of those bigger shots where he's like passing you left and right from 20 feet behind the baseline. So I think he gets a set. I don't know if I trust him to win this match. Give me Medvedev to advance in 4. And here's a look at Medvedev's eighth of the draw. Let me know who you guys think could come out here. I'm thinking a Tommy Paul, Brandon Nakashima round of 16. I could see Medjedovic potentially ruining that. I think Medjedovic is going to get some revenge over Casper Ruud in that round of 64 match. I just can't trust Landaluce to advance more than a couple of matches. He's probably going to push Tommy Paul. We know Landaluce, he likes to rise to the occasion when he's playing some of those bigger matches. We saw him do it against Taylor Fritz. And then on the other side, I mean, I don't know if I really trust Medvedev to get all the way out here and play center. It wouldn't surprise me if Nakashima was able to take him out with how well he's been playing on the grass. I'm going to go with Tommy Paul to advance out here and play center in the quarterfinals. Let me know what you guys think. Post your picks in the comments. And here's a look at Felix Auger-Aliassime's eighth of the draw. First match we're going to talk about is the number 3 seeded Auger-Aliassime taking on Shevchenko. Felix has a 1-0 head-to-head against Shevchenko. They met in 2023 in Basel. That's indoor hard courts. Felix was able to win 7-6, 3-6, 7-6. Felix is coming in. He's 3-2 on the grass, 6-4 last year, 0-2 the year before. Shevchenko, on the other hand, he's 0-1 on the grass this year, 0-2 last year, 1-3 the year before. Shevchenko's one match on the grass was in the qualifiers of Mallorca, where he lost to Shelby 6-4, 6-3. And we remember Shelby able to make a little bit of a run there in Mallorca. Felix, on the other hand, is coming off a tough loss in 3 sets, losing 7-6 in the third to Tiafoe and Hala. Had match points in that match. Shevchenko is 1-7 in his career on the grass. Guys, for me, there's nowhere else to go but to pick Felix here. I think he's going to get it done in 3 sets. Yes, there is a chance that Felix could potentially go off for a little bit, missing the forehand, missing the serve, but I think he's going to come in with a little bit of a purpose. He's the number 3 seed now. He's got that big serve. He's got the forehand. He's going to look to dominate all these rallies against Shevchenko, and it clearly shows that Shevchenko is not comfortable playing on the grass. Give me Felix to advance in 3. Our next match is Walton against Prismic. No head-to-head for these guys here. Walton is 3-2 on the grass, 1-5 last year, 4-5 the year before. And he's coming off a run that he was able to make in Mallorca, beating Bondioli and Gabaudo in the qualifiers, beating Kyrgios in the first round and losing to Fokina in straight sets, 6-4, 7-5. Prismic, on the other hand, he's 0-1 on the grass, 0-0 last year, 1-1 the year before. He is coming off a tough 3-set loss in the first round qualifiers of Queen's Club to Hijikata. Adam Walton is 8-12 overall in his career on the grass. Prismic is 1-2 overall in his career. Obviously, Prismic, we don't have much of a sample size to really say whether he's going to be good on the grass, but Hijikata, we know, has been playing some pretty good tennis, using that serve and volley. He was able to make a little bit of a run at Queen's Club. So I'm leaning towards Prismic here. I think he's got the power that's going to be able to bother Walton on the clay. I think he's got that big serve if he can click with it. It's really tough picking a guy that's only played 3 matches in their whole career. But I know Prismic is a fighter. Give me Prismic to advance in 4 sets. Next match is Vallejo against Mejia. No head-to-head for these guys here. Vallejo coming in, he's 0-1 on the grass. His one match coming in the first round of Mallorca, where he lost 7-6, 7-6 to Hampman. Mejia, on the other hand, he's 4-1 on the grass. Was able to get through qualifiers here, beating Roca in 3 sets. Hyde in straights, and then Schoolkate in straights. And that's an impressive win. We know Tristan Schoolkate has always been a tough customer. Vallejo's only played 1 match in his whole career on the grass. That was this year. Mejia has only played 2 years in his career on the grass. He's 4-1 this year, 0-2 back in 2023. Guys, I'm going to go with Mejia here. I like the fact that he's got, and we're not going to have a tournament where none of the qualifiers win. We're going to have a few qualifiers that are going to be able to get some upsets here against some of the players in the draw. And I think Mejia is going to be one of them. 3-0, he only dropped 1 set throughout all qualifying. Had to play the 3 out of 5 set match against Schoolkate and wins in straight sets. I think he's going to really give Vallejo a lot of problems. Give me Mejia to advance in 4. And our next match is Michael Zhang taking on Cam Norrie. Michael Zhang able to get through qualifiers, beating Squire in straights, Jetta in straights, and Colton Smith in 4 sets. He comes in, he's 3-2 now on the grass, 0-1 last year, didn't play the year before. He's only played 6 total matches on the grass in his career. Cam Norrie, on the other hand, he's 0-1 on the grass this year, 4-3 last year, 3-4 the year before. He's had some good seasons. Back in 2021, he was 6-2 on the grass. His one loss this year on the grass coming to Fokina, 7-6, 6-2. And remember, Cam Norrie's coming back from a rib injury that he showed us first in Geneva, where he got rolled by Navoni, and then we saw it in a retirement against Vallejo. So I'm curious to see how that's going to do here in this match. Will it come in? Will it play a factor? But I gotta lean towards Cam Norrie. We know Michael Zhang, he's playing some solid tennis, was able to get out of qualifiers, but this is going to be a very tall task for him to beat a player of the caliber of Cam Norrie. I'll be interested to see how the Michael Zhang footwork looks and his movement looks on the grass. Obviously, being able to play 3 qualifying matches, he must be doing extremely well. I'm going to go with Norrie to advance. I think it's going to be a little bit of a trickier match. So give me Norrie in 4. Next match is Alejandro Davidovich Fokina taking on Juan Manuel Cerundolo. Head-to-head here is 1-0 in favor of Fokina. He was able to get a win back in 2023 at the U.S. Open, a 6-1, 6-4, 6-3 win over Cerundolo. Now, Cerundolo has been playing some decent grass court tennis. He's 2-1 on the year. Fokina now finds himself in the finals of Mallorca, a chance to potentially win his first ATP Tour title. He will play Ethan Quinn tomorrow. This is a very interesting matchup, and yes, I know Fokina's won the last matchup in straights, but this matchup is just screaming tricky to me. I think, one, if Fokina wins that tour title, first one in his career, we might see a little bit of a hangover there. We might also see him coming in booming with confidence, but for me, guys, I was a little bit concerned in that French Open. The French Open first round, where he played Jumer, was basically done. Jumer serving for the match, was playing the better tennis. He was able to come back and win that match, but I feel like Cerundolo is not the type of guy that's gonna fold and give you the match. Jumer kind of got a little bit more in his head about that, and that kind of hurt him in the 5th set. Also, Juan Manuel Cerundolo playing a lot better tennis than he did in 2023 on other surfaces than clay. He's been working on his forehand. You can tell, it's hopping off the court a lot faster. The courts in Mallorca definitely favored that. I'm going to go with Fokina to advance here. It wouldn't surprise me if it was 5 sets, but I'll take Fokina to advance in 4. Next match, we have Taranti against Merida. This will be a really interesting one. No head-to-head for these guys here. We got Merida coming in. He's 4-3 on the grass, 2-3 last year, 1-4 the year before. He's coming off a tough loss today against Davidovich Fokina in the semifinals of Mallorca. Was able to beat Kecmanovic the round before that. Taranti, on the other hand, he's 1-1 on the grass, 0-1 last year, 1-1 the year before. He's only won 4 total matches in his career on the grass, has only played 10 total matches. Taranti was able to get a win over Stewart in straight sets and then lost to Samuel in straights. And that match was really interesting. You had a guy who was serving very big, who was putting a lot of pressure on Taranti. What Taranti started to do was trying to take offense early. He was serving and volleying. He was really starting to move Samuel around and not let him get set up, and that worked. And then they got to a breaker, and unfortunately for Taranti, he just kind of backed away from that style. It looked like he figured it out, how to beat this guy, but just was not comfortable doing it in the tiebreak, unfortunately. Now, looking at this matchup here, guys, I mean, we got another guy who's got a big serve and a big forehand. He's definitely going to bother Taranti here, but Merida is also capable of some massive dips in his level. He can give you games left and right, But right now, we see him playing with a lot of confidence here, making it to the semifinals of Mallorca, pushing Fokina to the absolute limit. He was able to beat Molchan in the first round, to Bilo in the second round, and Kecmanovic in the third. He lost to Taylor Fritz 6-2, 6-4. So obviously, guys, like, we're not going to take him in one of these like bigger matchups. But I think he can take care of Taranti here. Hopefully, he's going to be able to carry that confidence over from Mallorca to this match. I'm going to go with Marijan to win in 4. Next match is Van Asche against Vukic. Vukic coming in, he's 1-2 on the grass, 8-3 last year, 0-1 the year before. And he's coming off a straight set loss to Nakashima in Queen's Club. Did beat Hurkacz in the Alabama Open, but lost to Felix in the second round there. Van Asche, on the other hand, he has not played a match on the grass yet. 1-1 last year, 2-2 the year before. And he's coming off a win in the Parma Challenger, beating Ofner in the finals in 3 sets. You know, I'm really interested to see how Van Asche looks, because he has a big aggressive game. But I got to go with Vukic here, guys. I mean, I don't know how I can pick Van Asche. He's only played 12 matches on the clay or on the grass. He's won 6 of them. Vukic has played 78 matches on the grass. He's won 48 of them. He's got that big forehand. He can redirect. He's got a good shot up the line. Obviously, we haven't seen the best of him, you know, losing to Nakashima and Felix. But I think he's going to be able to take care of Van Asche, even if it goes 5 sets too. So give me Vukic to advance in 3. And our final match in this 8th of the draw is Fortuna against Lerner Tien. No head-to-head for these guys here. We got Fortuna coming in. He hasn't played a match on the grass. He's 1-1 last year, 0-1 the year before. Lerner Tien is 1-1 on the grass this year, 4-4 the year before. Didn't play any of the previous years. Fortuna has played 6 total matches on the grass. He's only won 2 of them. Lerner has played 10 total matches on the grass. He's only won 5 of them. This could be an interesting matchup. You know, I did like what I've seen from Lerner Tien so far on the grass. I think he's moving a lot better. Had a nice match against Felix Auger-Aliassime, losing in a breaker there. It was a very tricky match for him. And I think that's going to be enough to kind of give him the confidence to think that he can win a few rounds here. And it looks like the draw is pretty favorable for him. So I'm going to go with Lerner Tien to advance in 3. Here's a look at Felix Auger-Aliassime's 8th of the draw. And this is a really interesting draw for him. Prismic could pose some real big issues, as he's got that big forehand, the big serve. But we haven't seen him able to make a dent in a Grand Slam just yet, you know, especially asking him to beat the number 3 seeded player in a draw. Nori, again, with that rib injury, we got to keep an eye on that. Fokina, we have to see how much he has left after playing in the finals of Mallorca. Marijan has a big serving game as well, so he might be able to make a deep run. And then Lerner Tien on the bottom. We know he's capable of good things on any surface. He's got a game that works on any surface. For me, guys, I think I'm going to stick with Felix to get out here to the quarterfinals. Let me know what you guys think. Post your picks in the comments. Here's a look at Djokovic's 8th of the draw. First match we're going to talk about is Andrei Rublev against Roman Safiullin. Rublev coming in, he's 0-1 on the grass this year, 4-2 last year, 0-2 the year before. His only match coming against Hurkacz, 6-3, 6-2 loss, and did not look great there. The movement didn't look good. He was just getting bullied around by the serve and the forehand and couldn't really find his rhythm at all. Something tells me that this match is going to be a little bit tricky here. Safiullin coming in, he's 6-3 on the grass, 1-4 last year, 2-3 the year before. He was able to get through McCabe in straight sets, Cope Johns in straight sets. We remember James McCabe playing some solid grass court tennis too. And then he beat Jerome Kim 6-4 in the 5th set. And we remember Kim, of course, from the U.S. Open run that he had last year. So this has been a pretty good qualifiers for Safiullin, and to kind of get his feet wet in the fifth set as well, kind of test the body a little bit. He's got about 8 hours on court so far. Guys, I have a weird feeling that this is going to go 5. We remember Safiullin with that tough loss to Casper Ruud in the first round. He gave him everything he could handle. Casper Ruud cramping up in that fourth set, couldn't really get anything going, and then he's able to win that fifth set. I think this is going to be another 5-setter here. I think it's going to be Rublev, but I think it's going to be by a hair. I don't see this match really being like a domination by Rublev. So give me Rublev to advance in 5. Our next match is Kovacevic taking on Botic van de Zandschulp. Head-to-head is 1-0 in favor of Botic. He was able to get a win this year in Rome, 2-6, 6-2, 7-6 in the second round on the clay in Rome over Kovacevic. Kovacevic coming in, he's 1-4 on the grass this year, 1-4 last year, 2-4 the year before. He's never had a winning season on the grass. He's also 6-17 overall in his career. Botic van de Zandschulp, he is 1-2 on the grass this year, 1-2 last year, 1-2 the year before. Very consistent. 1-3 the year before that. Did have one winning season back in 2022 where he was 6-4. He has 13 wins on the grass for his career. This is an interesting matchup, guys, because you got two guys that aren't very comfortable with the grass courts. And honestly, you look at Rublev up there, him and Safiullin, they got a good chance to get to the round of 32. Both these guys are not trustworthy on the grass. This is going to be a tricky one. I just feel like Botic really doesn't like the grass, but what I saw, he played a tough match. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Played a tough match against Tommy Paul in Queen's Club. Lost 7-6, 6-3, but didn't look too bad. And, a tough 3-setter against Griekspoor. That was a match where Griekspoor should have won that in straight sets, though. His only win on the grass coming against Wendelken. Guys, I'm going to lean towards Botic. I feel like he's having the slightly better season. But Kovacevic, he's got that new coaching staff. He does play the balls extremely well. He takes the backhand very early now. He's got a win over Mo. That was his one win. I lost to Perry Card in straights. A 3-setter against Cerundolo in Queen's Club, the eventual champion. And then a straight set loss in Eastbourne to Altmaier. I think this is going to be a 4-set win for Botic. So give me Van de Zandschulp to advance in 4. Next match, we have De Jong taking on Hijikata. No head-to-head here. We got De Jong coming in. He hasn't played a match on the grass yet. He is 2-5 last year, 1-1 the year before that. Has won 6 total matches in his career on the grass. Hijikata, on the other hand, he's 7-3 on the grass this year, 4-4 last year, 5-5 the year before. He's coming off that quarterfinal appearance and loss to Humbert at Queen's Club, 6-1, 6-2. I like, De Jong, obviously not a great grass quarter, but he's always a tricky customer, guys. I think Hijikata's going to be able to take care of him. Hijikata's moving very well on the grass. He's serving and volleying. We're seeing him take time away from his opponents. He's going to be able to win that first set probably pretty quickly. But something tells me De Jong is just a fighter. He's a gamer. He's going to stick around. He'll give Hijikata some issues, I think, in the next 2 sets. I'm going to go with Hijikata to advance here in 4. Next match, we have Bautista Agut against Fonseca. Bautista Agut coming in. He's 1-2 on the grass this year, 5-4 last year, 7-4 the year before. He has, until this year, he's only had one losing season on the grass, and that was back in his first season in 2010. So he's definitely found a little bit of a step down here. Bautista Agut a little bit old here, 38 years old. Does play very well on the grass. Can he get a 3 out of 5 set done against Fonseca? I'm not really sure about that. Fonseca coming in, he's 0-1 on the grass this year, 3-3 last year, 2-4 the year before, and he pulled out last week pretty late, and not sure. I don't know if there was an injury there. I think maybe just trying to preserve himself for a potential run here at Wimbledon. He did lose to Hampman 6-2, 6-2. Didn't look good in that match. Just looked a little bit out of sorts. Hampman very comfortable on the grass as well. I think this is gonna. I think Bautista Agut is gonna take a set here. I think Fonseca is gonna have to find a rhythm on the grass, and something tells me it's gonna be like 7-6, 7-5, 6-7, 6-2, something like that. I think we're gonna see like 2 or 3 of the sets are gonna be very close. Um, but give me Fonseca to advance in 4. Our next match is Rinderknecht against Tarvit. And Tarvit, we remember, was able to make that deep run here at Wimbledon. Rinderknecht getting the upset win over Zverev. So both these guys having a pretty good Wimbledon last year. Tarvit only making the second round, losing to Alcaraz in straights. But let me tell you guys who he beat in the qualifiers last year. Terence Ahman in straights, Galerno in straights, and then blocks in 4 sets. I mean, we know how good these players are now. He was able to beat Leandro Riti in straight sets as well. That was a very fun match to watch. This is going to be a tricky match here for Rinderknecht. No head-to-head for these guys here. We have Rinderknecht coming in. He's 0-2 on the grass with a loss of Manarino in 3 sets and Medjedovic in straights. Was 7-5 last year, 4-5 the year before. Tarvit, on the other hand, was able to get through qualifiers at Wimbledon, beating Bolt in straight sets, Galerno again in straight sets, and Sakalarides in straights as well. He's played 3 challengers on grass courts, only able to get 2 wins there, beating Schoolkate and Blanchett, losing to Coleman Wong in straights, Romano in 3 sets, and Safiullin in 3. I'm curious about the health of Rinderknecht. He has never been the same since that calf injury that he suffered back in, I think it was back in Madrid. We haven't seen him really look the same since then. So I'm going to stick with Rinderknecht to advance here. It wouldn't surprise me if Tarvit was able to pull this massive upset. I'm going to stick with Rinderknecht. I think he wins in 4. Our next match is Trungelliti taking on Martin Dam, and no head-to-head for these guys here. We got Trungelliti coming in. He's 1-2 on the grass, 1-2 last year, 1-1 the year before. His only winning season on the grass came in 2021, where he was 3-1. Trungelliti's record is only reflecting the one tournament that he played on the grass where he was able to beat Felix Gill. And guys, that was a mistake that I made earlier. I think I said that Felix had beaten Trungelliti, but no, he lost in straight sets. 2 tough sets, though. Trungelliti lost to Hussey in the qualifiers, came in as a lucky loser, and lost in 3 sets to Pinnington Jones. Martin Dam, on the other hand, he's coming in. He's 6-4 on the grass, and he was able to get to out of qualifying, beating Zach Schweida in Queen's Club. Lost in the first round to Brooksby in 3. That was a tricky match there. Martin Dam did play the Labema Open as well, beating Munar in the first round and losing to Demonar in 2 tough sets. Guys, this is a tricky one because I liked what I saw from Trungelliti against, I think it was against Pinnington Jones. He was serving, volleying. He was trying to take time away from his opponent. That's something that I think could potentially bother Martin Dam. I feel like he wants to be the guy that's on the offense so he can control the tempo of the match and isn't running left and right to play defense. So I'm going to pick Martin Dam here. I love the serve. I feel like he's going to be able to pressure Trungelliti a lot. We've seen Trungelliti have big leads and then blow them. And we know Martin Dam's not going to give up at all. He's got that serve. He knows even if he goes down a break, he's only a break away from getting right back on serve. So I got to take Martin Dam here to advance. I think he beats Trungelliti in 4. The next match is another tricky one. We have Gaston taking on Tsitsipas. Head-to-head is 1-0 in favor of Tsitsipas. He got the win back in 2022 in Marseille. 6-3, 7-6, second round. That's on the indoor hard courts. Gaston is 3-1 on the grass, 0-1 last year, 3-2 the year before. He was able to get through qualifiers of Wimbledon, beating Midon in 3, China in straights, and Echargui in 4. So for me, a little bit of an easier qualifiers for Gaston there. Tsitsipas, on the other hand, he's coming in 0-1 on the grass this year, 1-2 last year, 2-2 the year before. Hasn't had a winning record on grass since 2022. And he played Buse last week in Mallorca, and this was a straight set win for Buse. I felt like he was able to really expose the backhand of Tsitsipas. But I gotta stick with Tsitsipas. I like the power that he has. I know he's had some decent seasons on the grass before. He's got 27 wins on the grass in his career compared to the 10 wins that Gaston has. So I'm going to go with Tsitsipas to advance in 3. And our final match to talk about in this 8th of the draw is Wu against Djokovic. No head-to-head here for these guys. We got Wu coming in. He's 1-3 on the grass. Didn't play the previous 2 years. Djokovic, on the other hand, he was 5-1 last year, 5-1 the year before. Hasn't played a grass court match this year. However, if there's one guy that has shown us that he can have success at Wimbledon without playing a tune-up, it's got to be Novak Djokovic. The last time he played a tune-up tournament was in 2018. And let me go through some of these records from Djokovic. He won in 2019. He won in 2021. He won in 2022. He was 6-1 in 2023, 5-1 in 2024 and 2025. So he has been so strong on the grass without needing the warm-up tournament. Now, Wu lost to Choinsky in straight sets, and Wu does have one win on the grass. It was against Sakamoto, and we remember Sakamoto. He went 5 sets with Jodar at the Australian Open. But this is going to be a much different caliber of player. Djokovic is coming in off his 5-set loss to Fonseca, was up 2 sets, not able to close it out. A great comeback from Fonseca, had the crowd with him. He was blasting shots left and right, and he really had to take that match from Djokovic. Djokovic was playing some lockdown tennis. Guys, there's not really any reason to waste any more time on this one. It's going to be Djokovic advancing here. I'm going to say Djokovic wins in 3. And here's a look at Djokovic's 8th of the draw. Guys, it's really weird seeing that number 7 next to Djokovic's name. Looking at this draw, I think we have a pretty nice path for Novak Djokovic. Rinderknech's not playing the greatest of grass court tennis, and he struggled a little bit. So I think Djokovic is pretty clear to get through to the round of 16 at the very least. Now, you look at the other side. Could we potentially have a rematch of Fonseca against Djokovic in the round of 16? Wouldn't that be a fun match? Not sure if Fonseca is going to be able to do that, because Rinky's a very tough customer. He's going to really challenge the movement of Fonseca on the grass. But I'm going to say that it's going to be Fonseca and Djokovic in that round of 16, with Djokovic this time advancing to the quarterfinals. Let me know what you guys think. Post your picks in the comments. As always, guys, thanks again for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Share your picks in the comments. Share the video. Thank you for staying with me. This was a very long video. We will have another video out going over the bottom half of the draw. I wanted to get the top half out a little bit earlier because those are the matches that will be happening on Monday. I'm so excited for the next few days, the next couple of weeks here at Wimbledon. I think we're going to get some really, really good matches here. If the French Open was any indicator, it shows us that this draw could potentially be wide open. So excited for it, guys. I'll see you guys in the next video.